Hi, everybody. My name is Buddy Guy. Welcome to Buddy's Review Show. On today's show, I want to talk about the new album from Pink Floyd, which is called The Endless River. And there you will see the case for The Endless River. It's got a fantastic, very Pink Floyd-esque cover by the late Storm Thorgerson. I may have mispronounced his name, but anyway, he had done a great deal of Floyd's album covers, back in the 70s and even into the 80s. Fantastic cover artist who did pass away last year. But I'm not here to review his work, although his work is awesome. I wanted to talk about this great new album, which came out about 2 weeks ago. And I'm a longtime Pink Floyd fan. I struggle to always pick a favorite group, but I got to tell you, they are definitely one of my favorite groups. I've often referred to them as my favorite band ever. Saw them a couple times in concert back in the 90s, and one of my favorites. So I was, like most Floyd fans, very, very much highly anticipating this album. And I got to tell you, I love it. I love it. I have seen some mixed reviews of it online. Seems like for the most part, people really like it a lot. Some people complain that they think it's just leftover music because a lot of it was recorded, a good deal of it was originally recorded 20 years ago while the band was making the Division Bell album, which, had been their last full studio album. And even though it was recorded at that time, it doesn't really feel like leftovers from the Division Bell. In fact, a lot of it doesn't sound like stuff from that era. It actually goes back to their older stuff, even the 60s and 70s. Quite a bit of it sounds like it could have, I don't know, the music's very similar to stuff you would have found like on Wish You Were Here. There's even some stuff that sounds like it's from The Wall, Amagama. I mean, like I said, going back to the 60s, even with Amagama. As a lot of you probably know, the album is instrumental except for one track. The last track on here is called Louder Than Words, which I'll tell you, at first I was not in love with that song, but after a few listens, I did like it. I grew to love it. I like it a lot. I think the reason I was a little weary about that at first was it starts out, first line of the song is we bitch and we fight. And I thought, oh no, here we go again. Gilmore's going to get into the whole thing about the little war he had with Roger Waters, former band member Roger Waters. But that is not the case. And I've seen other people actually complain about that line too, where they found that annoying. But basically, Louder Than Words, it was written by David Gilmour's wife, Polly Sampson. She did the lyrics for the song. It's basically about, despite whatever fighting they might have had, despite any number of things, basically the music is what matters, and it is louder than all those words. And it's a great song. And I love the album. Like I said, everything on there is instrumental. Some great tracks on here. It's funny when you listen to an instrumental album over and over again, you often just don't know the song titles. That's why I keep looking back at this album here. First track is called "Things Left Unsaid." It's a great opening to the album. It's "What We Do," another good one. Most of these songs are very, very short. The first couple tracks are a little bit longer than some of the others, but my personal favorite on here, and I've never heard the pronunciation of it, so I might be getting it wrong. But it's track 7. It's called Anisina. It's Anisina. I love it. It's beautiful, beautiful work of music there. And what's great about this album, if you don't know, is the late Richard Wright, the keyboardist for Floyd, who was also, a songwriter for them, and he sang on quite a few of their tracks, especially back in the 60s and 70s. He had passed away in 2008, but he is on most of this album. I think there's only a few tracks that he's not on, and this album is a tribute to him, so you can hear his great piano playing, his great keyboard playing throughout this album. Matter of fact, there's some voices heard at the very beginning of the album, just speaking very softly beneath the music, and the first voice you hear is that of the late great Richard Wright. Another fantastic song on here is called Allensee. There's Autumn 68, which is Rick Wright playing. It was recorded actually back then in, I think it's the Royal Albert Hall in the autumn of 68 is when the basic tracks for that were recorded. One song that I'm not fully in love with on here, it's called Talkin' Hawkin'. And the music in it is great, but they have Stephen Hawking on there. And if you are familiar with the Division Bell album, Stephen Hawking was featured on the song Keep Talking. And I assume it's from the same sessions. Matter of fact, there's even one of the same lines in there is that all we need to do is keep talking. And the music in the song is great. I don't know that they needed to bring Stephen Hawking back again. I mean, yes, his voice is still sexy as ever, but I think they could have left that off of there, and the song still would have been great. Um, I don't know what else to say except for the fact that if you love Pink Floyd's music, if you really like their music, I think you're going to love this album. I think it's a must own for any Pink Floyd fan. I see some people online say that, there is no Pink Floyd without Roger Waters. Of course, everyone knows Roger Waters had left the band back in the 1980s. And like I said, there was that all kinds of lawsuits and stuff like that. I love Roger. Roger, he did the lyrics, from Dark Side of the Moon onward through the Final Cut albums, and brilliant musician, lyricist, singer. But I quite enjoy, the stuff that they've done since Roger Waters had left the band. And to me, it's not, it's still Pink Floyd. I mean, it was, I love Roger, like I said, but this is a great album. If you do love Pink Floyd, check out The Endless River. Fantastic music. You'll love it if you love Floyd. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.